Have you ever wondered how deep the ocean really is? If you were to shave off all of the land from the tops of every continent and island in the world and fill up the ocean's deepest points with that land, then the entire Earth would be covered in an ocean 2 miles deep. Now, let's dive in and explore what lies beneath the surface. Our first stop is 40 meters below, which just so happens to be the maximum depth allowed for recreational scuba diving. It may not seem that deep, but it's still quite a feat to explore this far down into the ocean. Moving deeper into the ocean, we reach the depth of 93 meters, where the wreckage of the famous ship, Lusitania, was discovered. It's fascinating to note that the Lusitania was 240 meters long, which means it sank in water shallower than its length. If it were standing on its bow or stern, it would have still been visible above water. At around 100 meters, diving can be perilous due to decompression sickness, which can prove to be fatal if not handled with care. But that didn't stop a man named Herbert Nitsch to accomplish the free diving world record at a depth of 214 meters. This guy swam down to this level with just one single breath. But a little further down at 332 meters, we have the scuba diving world record, which was accomplished by another man named Ahmed Gaber. Now, if our diver continued descending, after 111 more meters, he would have arrived at the same depth as the height of the iconic Empire State Building, had it been submerged underwater. But if he went even deeper, about 500 meters below the surface, he would reach the maximum dive depth of blue whales, which are the largest creatures on Earth. Interestingly, this is also the limit for the US Seawolf class nuclear SU. As we go deeper into the ocean, the pressure becomes more and more intense. At 535 meters, we can witness the maximum dive depth of emperor penguins. Imagine the pressure that they must endure down there. It's roughly equivalent to having a polar bear standing on a quarter. But we're not done yet. At 830 meters below the surface, we've reached the height of the Burj Khalifa in Dubai, the tallest building in the world. That's right, if the Burj Khalifa was submerged in the ocean, it would be at this depth. Marine, which is one of the most advanced submarines in the world. And now, we reach the point that marks the beginning of the abyssal zone, 1,000 meters below the surface. This is where things start to get really scary. The sun's light cannot penetrate beyond this point, plunging the rest of the ocean into permanent darkness. But that's not all. At this depth, the water pressure would be so intense that it's equivalent to the weight of 100 adult elephants standing on a person's body, making it impossible to survive without proper equipment. To put it into perspective, the pressure is similar to what you would experience standing on the surface of the planet Venus, where the crushing atmosphere would kill you instantly. As we continue our descent to the ocean depths, we come across more fascinating creatures and landmarks. At 1,280 meters, we arrive at the maximum depth dived to by the leatherback sea turtle. However, things start to get a bit more ominous from here. At 1,828 meters, we would reach the deepest part of the Grand Canyon if it were submerged underwater with us. But at 2,000 meters, we encounter some of the most terrifying sea creatures, like the black dragonfish. This carnivorous predator has a stomach that does not allow light to pass through it, adding to its menacing appearance. At a depth of 2,250 meters, we'd find the maximum dive depth of sperm whales and the colossal squid, which is one of the most intimidating creatures of the ocean. It's believed that the sperm whales engage in battles with these creatures, leaving sucker marks and scars on their bodies. However, since this depth is pitch black, we would need a flashlight to see any of these creatures. Now, as we journey even deeper, at 3,800 meters we come across the tragic wreck of the RMS Titanic, resting silently on the ocean floor. But if we continue to descend to 4,000 meters, we enter the abyssal zone, the dark and cold abyss where sunlight never reaches and pressure can reach an unfathomable 11,000 pounds per inch too. So, imagine standing on top of a stack of 4 Eiffel Towers, and that's about how deep you are. But if you continue to dive down, at 4,877 meters we reach the depth of the oceanic white-tip shark, a predator known for attacking humans. At 6,000 meters, we hit the beginning of the Hadal zone, named after the Greek god of the underworld, Hades. This is the point where the pressure is over 1,100 times greater than at the surface of the ocean, and only 3 humans have ever made it to this depth. It's hard to imagine just how intense the water pressure must be at these depths. To put it into perspective, it's like having an elephant standing on a postage stamp or carrying the weight of 50 Boeing 747s on your shoulders. But even at these depths, life still finds a way to thrive. The Hadal Zone is home to some of the most fascinating and bizarre creatures on the planet, such as the Mariana snailfish, which can withstand the crushing pressure and freezing temperatures of the abyss. And at the very bottom of the ocean, lies the Challenger Deep, the deepest known point on Earth, which plunges to a depth of 10,928 meters. Only a handful of people have ever ventured this far down, making it one of the most mysterious and unexplored places on the planet. Everest, the tallest mountain in the world. But at this depth, we are in the Challenger Deep, the deepest part of the ocean, which is located in the Mariana Trench in the Pacific Ocean. Here, the water pressure is an incredible 8 tons per inch 2, equivalent to the weight of 50 jumbo jets. Only 3 people have ever made it to this depth, including the famous oceanographer Jacques Piccard and filmmaker James Cameron. Despite the extreme conditions, there are still unique species of life that exist in the Challenger Deep, such as the Mariana snailfish, the deepest living fish ever recorded. And much deeper than that, at 10,898 meters, we arrive at the depth that James Cameron reached during the Deep Sea Challenger mission in 2012. However, the deepest point in the ocean ever reached by humans was back in 1960 by Don Walsh and Jacques Piccard in their Trieste submarine, reaching a depth of 10,916 meters. Descending to that depth took 5 hours, and they only remained at that depth for 20 minutes before resurfacing due to a cracked window. At 10,972 meters, we arrive at the average altitude of commercial airliners during flight. So, if you've ever looked out of a window while on a flight and looked down to the ground, you can get an idea of how deep into the abyss we currently are. At 10,994 meters, we arrive at the lowest point of the ocean floor, which is known as the Challenger Deep. Located approximately 300 kilometers southwest of Guam Island, this is currently the deepest part of the known ocean. However, it is likely that there are deeper areas of the ocean that remain undiscovered. It was not until 1997 that the Serena Deep was discovered, with a depth of 10,732 meters, making it the second deepest known point in the ocean. According to estimates, only about 5% of the ocean floor has been accurately mapped, leaving the other 95% still a mystery. It is possible that an even deeper part of our ocean will be discovered in the future.